How's it going? I want to try to get through what could be an hour video in about 25, 30 minutes. Filet o Soul. I watched Live and Let Die, which had Baron Samedi. I'll show you a clip where they mention him in the movie. And so different things that I started to do gematria for um, that I saw in the movie that I wanted to do gematria for. I want to go over with y'all. Now, there was a place called the Filet of Soul, and it was spelled Fillet of Soul. And of course, it does come to not just Easter Sunday, but Paul McCartney, who actually did the theme song for the movie Live and Let Die. Well, it does come to Corona 19 and City of London, which of course is the banking center that sits inside of London, England. It's called the City of London, and it is like the Vatican, and it is like Washington, D.C. It is a city state inside of another city. Like the Vatican is inside Rome, City of London is inside of London, England. You'll see that building that is like a bullet. City of London skyline.
These pictures should match.
You can't help but feel like the bullet might stand for like G, I don't know. Something that would hit the Antichrist in the right eye. See that bullet right there? That's strange. Do you remember that YouTube site where that guy used to say crazy? I might use that as a thumbnail. Who knows? And it also has in between Corona 19 and City of London, Circle of the Sun, SON, which we know the Circle of the SUN is called a Corona. What do you know? Where I live, Polk County. 933, 912, 152. It's so weird. Final president. Interesting. It said beautiful day cryptically in the song, and it was released on October 9th. Nothing really came up in gematria. Nothing really came up for Bleecker Flying School. Nothing really came up for Filet of Soul. And nothing really came up for OH Cult Voodoo, which was a shop they went in. So there just wasn't really a lot watching the movie of Live and Let Die. And here's a 7-second clip where they do talk about the Baron Samedi in the movie, which is, of course, the exact middle of I Pet Goat, which would tell you that's what the whole movie or the video is about the next 9/11, which is about the Day of the Dead of the Antichrist deadly wound moment, which Baron Samedi does come up to December 18th. And his name is Baron Saturday, and this year's December 18th is on a Saturday.
A legendary Baron Saturday, folks. That's Saturday for those of you who speak French.
That's Saturday for those of you who speak French, he said. And I was hoping I would get more gematria out of those. I did on my other channel show the fakery of college football. I was at this game, and there was already a horrible pass interference call where a Gator player didn't even touch an Alabama receiver. And at home is when you're supposed to get the calls. The game is at home in Gainesville, and the call goes against the home team. They call pass interference on the home team, and the replay showed nothing happened. There was no pass interference at all. And the head coach never said a word about it. And, and you can say, oh, he can get fined. Folks, it's part of what kept a drive alive for them to score And this, of course, was another score. And a previous score was also due to a Gator player purposefully running into an Alabama player when he could have turned around and just intercepted the ball. He just ran into the Alabama player on purpose. The game is mainly faked by these guys called the defensive backs. They will bite on a play action fake where he will pretend to hand the ball off, and they might come up and a guy will blow by them. He'll be wide open. And the coach will just say something like, well, our players are out of position. We got to coach them better. You know, they just make all these mistakes. It's now not every game is faked. And I would tell you the majority of all college football games are played very real, but anytime Alabama is involved or these top programs are involved, then fakery is in play. And because they have to get their national champion into the playoff, and they also have very specific 4 teams they want in the playoff. College football is the only collegiate sport that does not have an actual playoff system whereby you earn your way into the playoff by winning a division, by winning something. It is voted on by people, which is all about the divine feminine, which is all about collaboration. That's one of the key words of the divine feminine. And of course, there's 13 members on the board that picks. So this guy here, if you can see my cursor, standing at about, there's a 20-yard line and the arrow is going backwards. So standing at about the 17, 16-yard line. He knows he's already looking where the play is going to be. And this guy's going to run out and he's going to run into him on purpose. And then he's going to flop with his arm in the air and all kind of stuff. It's actually pretty comical. And we can take it and slow it way down for you. And we can go ahead on and scoot it up a little bit since it's so slow. So watch this guy here. He knows what's going on and he's going to go ahead and just run to the interference. He's going to run to him. Easily could see this guy going that way, which means he would bail and head out that way. But no, he goes ahead and leans into and takes the hit and watch his arm flop into the air. And he just kind of flops down like, oh, leaving, of course, this guy wide open for the touchdown. But that's where you could really see it. This is recorded. This is the slow motion of it. Now they're going to show you in slow motion, and I've got it slow mode, so it's super slow. So again, you're watching his head. This is the gentleman that's going to come out, go out, and then up. And of course, being that he is locked up on this guy, then he already knows that his guy is 19. And he is going to come up and run directly. Now watch him just move purposefully into the collision. Watch him move into the collision. He doesn't even try to avoid it. He moves into the collision. Takes the hit, leaving the guy wide open. And that's how you know it's extremely fake. Again, not all of college football is fake. Not all the college football teams are fakery. They refer to themselves as a brotherhood. The NFL refers to themselves as a brotherhood. They've taken the oath and they keep the secrets. And they tell these guys, because these Florida, Alabama players are the ones that will be going to the NFL. And they tell them, when we tell you to fake it, you fake it. I don't know how much prep goes into that, whether it's practice during the week. I would imagine so. I don't really know whose headsets each team talking to each other with these headsets, and then they talk to the players down on the field through headsets, tell them when it's coming, what the situation will be. Is there something the quarterback does to give it a, or the receiver to give the DB a tell? I don't know how it's done, but it's clearly, you can clearly see that it is done. This was, I don't know if I played this for y'all.
And no, we've not had a war so far, but when you look what's happening right now,
We have not had a war so far. Now you have to understand World War I began because of the assassination to Franz Ferdinand. And it will be the I've been telling y'all that it will be the deadly wound to the Antichrist, to the horn, to the trump, to the trump, to the horn. As he's here in his own name, that will kick off. That'll be the white horse, the crowning is his death. And then you have, because I believe it was chapter 2, verse 9 in Hebrews, where it speaks of Jesus receiving the crown at his death, or because of his death, Jesus received the crown. And that'll kick off war, famine, and death. And iPet Goat shows you after he goes down. It says markets crash, war.
tensions rising, and there could be a war in the future.
There could be a war in the future
In Asia.
Yeah.
With us?
Between the US and China, yeah.
between the U.S. So she's just telling you, yeah, there could be a war between the U.S. and China.
Yes, absolutely.
Really? I mean,
And of course, he's trying to play off of her. This is all scripted.
that would be kind of cool.
Couldn't even say it. I think I did play this for y'all when he couldn't pronounce cataclysmic. Like he's so, like it's just so obvious. And he knows, what he knows is he knows the seriousness of their joke that they're in on. He does know something, you know, he does know World War III is coming. He'll be hidden, of course. They all will have a place to go to be protected. But you can tell he knows by the way he fumbled over that word cataclysmic, because he knows something cataclysmic is coming. It's called the four horses of the apocalypse.
That would be kind of cool. I think both countries know.
So you see how he choked, then gave a grin.
That we,
They both know
Couldn't get it out again. He just sort of froze up. And then she sort of takes over for him because she sees him getting tripped up.
but here's the issue. It's a bit like the start of World War I.
It's a bit like the start of World War I, which was what? The assassination of Franz Ferdinand.
And that's the historical memory that worried so many people in the Pentagon. Because you go back to the Cold War
Blah, 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 blah.
in the US and the Soviet Union, and you had a hotline between the two
You had a hotline and now you don't have a hotline. The line is broken.
countries. They could talk pretty easily. The problem today
Problem today is that line has been severed.
that people aren't talking enough about is actually the hotline between Washington and
Doesn't exist anymore.
Beijing is pretty broken.
Right on, sister
And that's a backdrop which made people
of the sisterhood.
like General Milley so concerned that you could get an accident
You can have an accident
like at the beginning of World War I.
like at the beginning of World War I. What was the accident like at the beginning of World War? Well, it was an assassination. I mean, do you see how these, come on.
And people like General Milley so concerned that you could get an accident like at the beginning of World War I, and suddenly everything will spin out of control.
Oh, everything will spin out of control like war, famine, and death to 1/4 of the earth. It's interesting. So let's wrap it up. Add Bill Maher and the 17th to the list, SS. Oh, that was the spreadsheet. I did that. Baron Saturday, we did that. I already showed you all that. Divine Feminine came up to 911 in Jewish gematria. Donald Trump is what comes up in English and simple gematria when you key in Divine Feminine. I didn't spell Donald properly. Sorry. Donald J. Drumpf also comes up under Divine Feminine. Queen of Heaven comes up, which is what the Divine Feminine is. Master Mason, and Ku Klux Klan. Sacred Feminine, when you gematria that, you get My Pillow. We know he's pretty popular in the Trump community. North America, and Batman Begins. Uncle Buckeye, the Ohio State Buckeyes. You do get Eye of the Tiger, but that was about it. Jamie said, talking about that song, the song lyrics I went over, she said, I thought a nation without colors in the Janet Jackson pledge was the merging of their black and white checkerboard squares into the gray state. Remember the movie of Gray State, or 50 Shades of Gray, the color of 2021, according to Google, is the ultimate gray color. What is the color for 2021? Ultimate gray. See, I didn't even know all that. So thank you, Jamie. I mean, we love your comments. Any of y'all, when you comment like Chief, been hearing from Chief a lot lately, and it's great to hear. Chief goes, love the long videos. And, you know, I used to like long videos too, of people that I could get lost in, and it would kind of get me out of the world and get me closer to the Lord. So I think that's what Chief means by just kind of us getting immersed in these long videos. But tonight, I'm not going to do that to y'all. Already looked at Filet of Soul, wasn't much there. The knife that went on to September 14th calendar, I wanted to look at like 9/14, September 14th. I think I looked it up every single way. I think so. At the very beginning of the Live and Let Die song by Paul McCartney, at the beginning of the movie, we see the same looking lady who is in No Time to Die IMDb. It's the same looking lady, No Time to Die, Live and Let Die. It's the same type of color, physique. Of this lady who plays Naomi in the movie. So notice Live and Let Die and No Time to Die, same hairstyle. So Live and Let Die and No Time to Die, Baron Samedi involved in Live and Let Die, and of course he's a Day of the Dead, and No Time to Die, Bond dies. So they just seem to be very linked up in many different ways. And okay. That was the occult voodoo. Already looked at that in gematria. Here's what's crazy. The amount of time in the movie Live and Let Die. We talked about event 201 comes to December 18 or December 18th. We forget which one it was. But it was 201:38 in length on the Blu-ray. 201:38. 201. There it is. 201 comes to what? Or 201 comes to December 18th. Live and Let Die. Beautiful Day gematria. We did that. Beautiful Day release date. Looked at that. Oh, by the way, Beautiful Day release date. Oh, I showed it to you. November 9th. Okay. Right. What? October 9th. Beautiful Day, YouTube, Wikipedia. Yeah, October 9th. Sorry. And of course, Bond's movie comes out on October 8th. So it's next Saturday. And Trump does have a rally next week. So there's the Bleecker Flying School. I cut off the word the and just put Bleecker Flying School in there. Nothing came up. I did not look up that. That was the street that the funerals came on. Let me gematria that real quick. Live and Let Die. You know, they had those funerals in downtown New Orleans. DUN, it's Maine, DU, and then the state of Maine. And I did Google it, and it really is there. It does have an 8-9 there, 289 or 2 October 9th. So of course, we'll always look at Trump's rallies. I don't think he would go down in a rally now that the more that I think about it, because I think it has to be a clone that goes down. And I think it's too hard to fake the clone if he's up there speaking and speaking, you know, speaking well and speak, but who knows how advanced the clone is if it's a spirit living inside of a created body. And but anyway, that's the end of this video. I'm just going to scroll through here and see if we get the date, because it says a funeral. I mean, the street was where the funerals began. So can you imagine the Antichrist receiving a deadly wound and then there being a funeral? Because it's all of that chaos in the streets that would bring about the martial law and so forth. And said Deadpool 1 was one of them. I don't know what a Deadpool is. It was interesting. So, or we call it interesting. El Maya was there also. That was on a tarp that was over the sidewalk. It said El Maya. April 18th, I saw. We saw the word vaccine, and that word was in there. Really, I mean, you get the 8th. The letters are really too, I mean, the words are too small to get December 18th out of that. Of course, the Jewish gematria will play longer, which is where you would actually get the December 18th. That's long enough to store something like that. You go down to here, you just don't have enough letters to make anything. Anyway, it doesn't seem like we got much with El Maya either. A lot of the things you'll see in movies, they're just coincidences. So that's what was downtown New Orleans. Gave the number 3266. I guess I need to key that in. That was on the back of Bond's watch. $3266, when he was asking Solitaire, who was the seer in the movie. And literally she speaks of, since she had sex with Bond, that she had a connection to the prince of this world, which means Satan. Oh, November 20th comes up. That's the full moon in November. And Biden's 666, and here's November 16th. So you get November 20th. Is that spelled properly? November 20th.
According to Wikipedia, November 20th is the 324th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. 41 days remain until the end of the year.
Twint, and it's IET. Twint, IET. E-T. Yep. So November 20th and November 16th. 4 days apart. I saw something else a while ago that was 4 days apart, so it wasn't a match. But that's very interesting. And again, he could get hit on the 16th, die on the 17th. Oh, wait a second. The full moon is on the 19th of November. Yeah, it's September 20th, October 20th. Then you back up a day and a day. And it's November 19th. And then it's December 18th. Now, when Joe Biden gave the 666, that's actually, if you go up 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 hours, We Seek and We Find showed us.
Minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks. Minutes, 6 minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks.
When you go up, and did he say it on Friday? Hang on just a second. Date to date calculator. Joe Biden, 6 minutes, 6 days, 6 weeks. It's 2 days ago. Today's Sunday, so he said it on a Friday, which would have been October 1st. Let's just say he said it at 12 noon. I don't know when he said it. And we're going to go up. We would go to the add days, my bad. So we would go to include time. Let's say he said it around noon. 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 minutes. Was that what he said? Minutes?
Six minutes, 6 days, or 6 weeks.
Boy, he was really concentrating to make sure he said that right, wasn't he? Comes to November 18th. It's the day before the full moon. Could he go down and then the day afterwards rise on the full moon? I don't know. Or was that why we had the 20th on there? Because that's when he would actually rise. 3266. Those were the numbers given on the back of Bond's watch. And of course, he was making them up in the movie. He was making those numbers up. She said, yes, those are the correct numbers. And of course, they weren't. So that's about it, y'all. Didn't last an hour. What was Daniel Craig born? March 2nd. March 2nd, 1968. How old will he be on the 18th? Nothing much. November. Hmm. Let's go for that 666. The insurrection day. Nope. So on January 4th, Daniel Craig is 19666 days old. I don't know. Anyway, love y'all very much. Haven't heard from Michael in a while. But Chief, Justin, Jamie, and the rest of y'all, love y'all. Always good to hear from y'all.